Hello, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 most anticipated games of 2018. This list is just in my humble opinion. Your lists will probably vary because, everyone isn't into exactly the same shit. But with that in mind, let's begin. The Last of Us Part 2. Although I never played The Last of Us 1 back when it was released because I didn't own a PS3 at the time, I did play the PS4 remaster, which was one of the first games I got when I bought my PlayStation 4, and I was definitely surprised by how much I liked the game, as I'm not the biggest fan of shooters at the best of times, and I'm not the biggest fan of Naughty Dog's other shooter series, Uncharted. So I really didn't have high hopes for me enjoying The Last of Us 1, but it surprised me with its brilliant story and gameplay and the beautiful graphics that really helped you get immersed in the world. So needless to say, I'm very excited for the sequel to the game that's meant to be coming sometime in 2018. But you never know, it might get pushed back yet. Here's hoping it doesn't. Not too much is known about The Last of Us Part 2 yet, but it seems like you'll be taking control of older Ellie instead of Joel. But here's hoping it lives up to the quality of the first game. Dragon Ball FighterZ. A lot of people were extremely into the two Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse games that came out, but not me. I found the combat clunky as hell and not enjoyable. So when I heard we were getting a new Dragon Ball Z fighting game made by Arc System Works, I got very excited, as the last Dragon Ball Z game that I really enjoyed was Budokai 3 way back on the PlayStation 2. It's going to be more of a Street Fighter, Guilty Gear styled fighting game, which I think will work a whole lot better than the clunky Dragon Ball Z fighting games we've got recently. There's a great selection of characters from the history of the Dragon Ball Z show, and from all the footage I've seen thus far, it appears to be a fast-paced 2.5D fighting game. From what I've read, there's going to be a story mode in which Android 16 is back with an army of androids that the Z-Fighters will have to take down. I'm really hoping there's a decent amount of single-player content to do, as quite frankly I'm absolutely shit at fighting games, and I won't really get much time out of the online play. But if the single-player content is a bit thin, it'll just have to be one of those games I get when the price goes down, as it'll probably be one of those fun games to bust out when you got friends over. Vampire. Now, I, like many gamers, am a big fan of the cult classic Diamond in the Rough game Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. And when I saw the developers of the great Life is Strange Don't Nod were working on a new vampire-based RPG, I was instantly in. Obviously, they haven't really made a game in this style before, so I am a little bit dubious of how this is going to turn out, but the potential for it to be good is definitely there. What we know so far is that you play Jonathan Reed, a doctor who has become a vampire and is torn between his bloodlust and the Hippocratic Oath that he took as a doctor, which seems to hint at some kind of light morality system. But beyond the fact that you're a vampire doctor in 1918 London, not much has been revealed about what the actual plot of the game is going to revolve around. I have heard that it's going to be a semi-open world game. I hope this means a more structured game than your usual run-of-the-mill open world game. This is my main worry about the game, that it will just be a bog-standard open world game, but I really hope this isn't the case. The Wolf Among Us Season 2. I, like many people, got into the Telltale games through the fantastic Telltale's Walking Dead Season 1 game, and from that onwards things seem to go on a downward spiral for Telltale. With them picking up far too many licenses and trying to pump out way too many games, it's no wonder the quality of their releases started to slump. That said, The Wolf Among Us Season 1 was an exception to this, as it turned out to be quite an enjoyable game. It was based on a graphic novel called Fables, which is about a world where all the different fairy tales actually exist in our world and live among us cloaked as normal humans. The first season, while at times a bit convoluted, was an extremely fun little Telltale game, and many fans wanted a Season 2. After years of waiting, we're finally going to get it. I really hope this game starts Telltale back on more of a upward trend, as I don't want them to go away, as I think when they really hit their stride they can make great pieces of storytelling. Detroit Become Human. I am David Cage, emotions. Now, while many make fun of David Cage, because, he's a bit of a strange man, but you can't accuse him of making boring games, as I've always in some way enjoyed most of the games he's made. While most of them aren't perfect bits of interactive media, they're always entertaining and interesting in their own right. I've been paying attention to David Cage since Fahrenheit on the PS2 and original Xbox, which was a game I really enjoyed because it wasn't like any other game at the time. And this game really set the David Cage mold that he's stuck to ever since, for better or worse. The plot is said to revolve around 3 androids that have been freed from the servitude to their human masters, and it seems like it's going to explore the questions around artificial intelligence, which is a debate that's going on with a lot of the world's smartest people. It will be interesting to see where he goes with it. It's David Cage, so it's probably going to be ham-fisted in certain areas, but that's part of what makes David Cage games lovable. And it sounds like it's going to stick to the usual David Cage gameplay style, a third-person action game with quick-time events and branching paths based on your choices in the game. Whatever this ends up being, I think I'm going to get some enjoyment out of it for sure. A Way Out. There's certainly a big lack of co-op games in the modern era of gaming, which is a big shame, as I love having games that I can play with my missus. And A Way Out looks like a game that will be loads of fun to play through with her. It's a co-op action-adventure game directed by Joseph Fares, the man who brought us the amazing Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. It's a game where you and whoever you're playing with take control of two convicts in their mission to escape from prison and go on the run. It's a very unique concept for a game, and I can understand why a lot of people would be scared to try and make a co-op only experience, as it's not a proven way to sell millions of games. But I'm glad someone is mad enough to try and take on the challenge. If it's anywhere near as good as Joseph's previous game, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, we're going to be in for a seriously good time. Pit People. Behemoth is a game company that has always made fun and very stylized games that usually have a very random and off-the-wall sense of humour. And Pit People is certainly no exception to that rule. It's basically Behemoth's take on Fire Emblem with their iconic sense of style and humour. The game has already been released in early access, but I don't personally want to even touch it till it's fully finished. As with most early access releases, it will probably ruin my enjoyment of the finished product. The game has you going around a hub world with cities, doing story missions and side quests that involve beating up bad guys in the usual tactical RPG fashion, with you capturing new units with a net-wielding unit like it was Pokemon. While it's not completely original, I'm looking forward to playing it all the same, because I love these types of games. Octopath Traveler. Square Enix have been making a lot of smaller scale, old school styled RPGs lately, and I'm all for it, as that's the style of game I enjoy the most. And Octopath Traveler looks like it's going to be a whole lot of old school RPG goodness, with an interesting art style that mixes 16-bit sprites with 3D environments, and it's quite honestly beautiful to look at. There's 8 different characters to choose from at the start of the game that all supposedly have their own playstyles, so that might warrant multiple playthroughs. But other than that, it seems like it's going to be another game in the classic JRPG style, and there's nothing wrong with that. More of a good thing is never a bad thing. Sadly, it's only on Nintendo Switch, which is a bit annoying because I would have loved to play it on my PS4 or PC, but hopefully next year I'll be buying a Switch anyway to play all the great games I've missed this year. Lost Spear, another one of Square Enix's smaller budgeted RPG releases that are coming next year. As a big JRPG fan, it's not surprising that I'm excited for both of these releases. It's from the same studio that brought us I Am Setsuna, which is a game I really enjoyed. Sure, it was a simple JRPG, but it was enjoyable enough in its execution that it was still a lot of fun. And the fact that Tokyo RPG Factory are at the helm of this game is enough to get me excited for some more classic JRPG action. The game has a simple enough premise like I Am Setsuna before it. You play Kanata and his friends Lumia and Locke as they look for a way to stop the white fog that's slowly destroying their town. By the looks of what I've seen in the gameplay footage, it looks like it's going to use a very similar battle system to that of I Am Setsuna, which is fine by me as I really enjoyed the combat in that game. It has a lovely art style that literally looks like a PS1 JRPG that has been fully redone for modern systems. If it's as fun as I Am Setsuna, I will not be disappointed. Ni no Kuni 2: The Revenant Kingdom. Ni no Kuni 1 was another one of those games that I missed because I didn't own a PS3 when it was released. I pretty much bought a PS3 so I could finally play Ni no Kuni, and it was definitely worth it as Ni no Kuni was a fantastic game that had some help from the legendary Studio Ghibli, and the game certainly did look like a playable Studio Ghibli movie, and its fun Pokemon styled gameplay was very fun. That's why I'm extremely hyped for its sequel, Ni no Kuni 2, The Revenant Kingdom. If it's anywhere near as fun and charming as the first game, we're surely in for a treat. The game is going to be set hundreds of years after the events of the first game, with the cat and mouse tribes of Ding Dong Dell at war. The mouse tribe manages to oust the character you'll be playing, King Evan Petawhisker Tildrum, and the story will follow his journey to regain his throne. They'll be sorry they didn't decapitate him like the rebels in the French Revolution. The gameplay looks very similar to that of the first game, and if Ni no Kuni 2 oozes charm like the first one, I'm sure it'll be bloody amazing. Thank you for watching my top 10 most anticipated games of 2018, and I'll see you later.